We know that more than 1 million migrants came to Europe in the biggest exodus since World War II. What isn't well documented is the plight of the weak, the injured, and those who struggle to make it. This is the tale of 2 Syrian boys caught up in the migration lottery. It's springtime in the Greek capital Athens, and after a hard winter the days are getting warmer, which for most migrants makes survival easier, but not everyone. We sit in the shade to meet one of the boys, a 9-year-old who can't face direct sunlight. Manan is pictured with his sister Nathlia a few years ago. This is him now. He suffered 3rd-degree burns to much of his body and needs plastic surgery. After escaping from Syria, fire broke out in his family's tent, not in a war zone, but in a migrant camp here in Greece.
So he was burned everywhere apart from his legs and his chest.
Yes.
What was he wearing on his chest?
Clothes. He had clothes. They took the clothes off because it burned.
Volunteer Salam al-Din has been helping the family and shows us a video of the night of the fire. You can hear the screams of Manan's mother. She had to choose which of her children to try to rescue from the flames first. She saved Nathlia, sparing at least one child more serious injury.
Nobody got inside to save the baby. The mother jumped inside and brought the baby. No men got inside there to get the baby out.
Pulled her own son out.
She took her son out.
والصيدليات هون ما بيعطوا الدواء بدون رشيدة.
لازم.
والدكتور هون ما أعطانا رشيدة.
وين الحل؟
والحل الحل الله.
تعبت كثير.
تعبت كثير. صار لي سنة بالشغل.
Greece is the first European country for many migrants arriving on the continent. But gateway borders north are now closed, and Greece is ill-equipped to deal with the influx or the injuries of those who fled war. There are no official figures, but charities have told Sky News they estimate there are several thousand high-risk children here in need of specialist medical help.
Greek people have been wonderful, but because there is such an exodus of refugees coming to Greece, the medical services are overstretched.
Perfect.
13-year-old Najib Ali also made it to Greece from Syria. He's undergoing tests at a hospital in Athens.
And here are problems in the spine from traumas. This is trauma ribs. You see here broken ribs.
His hometown of Homs has been bombarded by Syrian government forces, and he was caught up in one of the airstrikes in 2013 with devastating consequences. Najib was so badly injured he was left unable to walk.
نجيب هو يعني قبل الإصابة كان طفل كتير حرك كتير يعني أنه متطلع على الحياة كتير أنه متفائل طفل كان بالدراسة من الأوائل على المدرسة كان كتير يحب المدرسة يحب رفقاته يحب يطلع يحب يفوت بعد الإصابة لا عاد يحب يطلع لا عاد يحب يفوت.
The charity Goodwill Caravan has arranged a private appointment. It's the first time Najib and his family have been able to see a specialist consultant after a year in Greece. Najib is already in a wheelchair, but doctors have discovered new problems. He is told he needs an urgent, even life-saving operation. The teenager has the kidneys of an old man and is facing the prospect of renal failure.
He's got a serious urological problem that needs to be dealt with pretty soon in order not to jeopardize his kidney function and not having him end up in dialysis, something that would be very debilitating.
Najib's family left Syria as refugees, not only having lost their home, but in the hope of finding someone to help their son walk again. Still reeling from news of the teenager's kidney problems, the next day they arrived to see a leading spinal consultant at a government hospital.
You feel that? How about here? You feel that? Here? No. Let's try this side. You feel that? No. Okay. Do you feel anything here?
هل حاسس بأي حاجة؟
Okay. This is an automatic movement, really. He does not have any conscious movement of his legs.
قال أن الحركة هذه مش حركة لأنه هو قادر يحرك رجليه، الحركة هذه العضلات يتحركوا بروحهم.
Do you think that there's any chance he could walk again?
I think this is very slim.
إنه بس هيك يعني إنه شكله الخارجي لا خلص صار ما رح يمشي.
As Najib battles injuries from 4 years ago, the family's hometown has been hit again with a fresh strike. Najib's grandparents lived in the house next door.
ما عم مشى. تعبوا. لا نذهب على المدرسة. في ضرب كل يوم عندنا بسوريا.
Najib's father Talal is reliant on the goodwill of a passerby to help with the wheelchair. He banked on getting his son to Europe so he could try to walk again. But with borders north of Greece closed, they're now stuck and can't be sure if or even when Najib will get the treatment he needs. Ali also is the father of burns victim Manan. He gambled on going to Germany ahead of his family to claim asylum. Back in 2015, with the migration crisis at its peak, Germany was offering a warm welcome to Syrians fleeing war, and it's where Ali went, hoping his wife and children would be allowed to follow. But Ali's dreams were shattered when word came that his son Manan had suffered life-changing burns in a fire at a migrant camp in Greece. It's now 3 months since we first met Manan, and he's made it to Berlin in Germany with his mother and sister. They were given permission to join Father Ali after being accepted on the migrant reunification program.
لما شفت هيك بالمطار هيك وجهه مثل ما قلت لك قبل شوي، يعني الدمعة صارت تنزل لحالها، ما اتحكم بحالي، يعني اشوف ان ابني وين كان وين صار، يعني خبر كثير زعجني كثير.
The family are now on their way to a specialist hospital in Berlin to begin a program of treatment paid for by the German government. It is a moment Manan's mother has both hoped for and feared, knowing years of operations lie ahead to treat the burns which have disfigured her son. Until now, Manan has only had basic emergency treatment in Greece after the fire. This is the first time German specialists have been able to carry out a full examination of the injuries he will have to live with for the rest of his life.
Feet are growing.
As Manan gets bigger, he's told his scarred skin won't stretch, making movement of his legs and feet more difficult.
Yeah.
Doctors say the immediate focus is his left hand and face.
And then we can do little scar releases here, that he can open the mouth.
He can't completely close his eyes to blink properly or fully open his mouth. Smiling is virtually impossible. It's a lot to take in for a little boy.
قبل ينام ما كان يفيق يبكي هلا هو نايم عم يبكي فجأة يفيق.
Manan doesn't recognize his own reflection.
وجهه تغير ويده تغير حياته كله تغير.
But the pain of what Manan went through in Greece is still fresh in his mind. A few weeks later, and Manan is wheeled into the operating theatre. Four surgeons work simultaneously on his hand and face. Manan lost the top part of his fingers on his left hand. By making incisions in the skin that's left, it's hoped new fingers can be partially created. Doctors are trying to help Manan smile again, but he will also have to learn to live with his scars. Surgeons in Germany have been operating on Manan Osso, a 9-year-old Syrian boy, for more than 3 hours. He suffered catastrophic burns to his face and hands when his tent caught fire in a migrant camp in Greece.
We just finished the first step of reconstruction in this boy, and basically it was all about the face and the left hand. So this was the primary or the more severe points that we wanted to address. He had a problem to close the right eye, so we did a correction of the inner limbus of the right eye, and we opened up a bit the orifice of the mouth so that he's able to open the mouth more.
The process will go over his life. Maybe it could be that we have in 15 years a surgery. Maybe we have some steps in the next months, maybe in the next 2 years. Then maybe we have a break and he grows up and then we go again. Maybe that's the future.
His disfigured face has prevented Manan or his parents from wanting him to start school in Berlin. They hope this will take him a step nearer to leading something of a normal life.
We know that as a child that they always have a fear from their look, and they are afraid that other children, they're gonna laugh at them or be uncomfortable to be next to them. So our target and goal is to let them to live with their scars and to adapt to it.
Back in Greece, 13-year-old Najib Ali, who was left paralysed when his home in Syria was hit in an airstrike, is still on a waiting list for treatment. We've been given rare permission to film a meeting between Najib's family, the charity Goodwill Caravan who are helping him, and a British government official. One option is to try to get him a visa to travel to the UK.
It's not that the medical system here is bad. It's really important. It's not that. It's just their overcapacity and their waiting lists are really long.
Yeah, what is the time factor in these conditions?
The waiting lists are 4 to 6 months.
But there's a part of it which we're saying that cannot be done here. There's
Correct.
Other...
The reconstructive spinal surgery can be done here. However, there aren't enough specialists for the rehabilitation when he wakes up from the operation.
Crucially, the official wants to know if they can pay for the treatment themselves if they go to the UK.
But in order to talk to London, to explain to them, I need to know how long, when do you think you'll be ready? Because I think the financing and all that might be an issue. I'll be dead honest with you. You're in the UK, you know very well what's going on with the NHS and all this. But you know also the political climate in the UK at the moment.
الحاجات تغيرت في الفترة اللي فاتت في بريطانيا بالنسبة للاجئين والخطر والإرهاب والحاجات هذه.
So with everything that is going on at the moment about the 1% cap on health workers and the NHS not being underfunded and all this stuff and all that, you can see where the politicians are going to be even a little bit wary.
Privately funded treatment seems to be Najib's best hope. But in Germany, burns victim Manan has already had a number of operations paid for by the government since I first met both the boys.
I know that they wanted to come here, of course, to be reunited with Manan's father, but not only that, because for Manan, being here in Germany represents a real opportunity for him to get the medical treatment he needs.
Hello, how are you?
I've come back to Germany to see Manan and his family for what is a momentous occasion. Manan is finally going to start school.
Hello you, how are you? Are you good? Yeah.
It's been a few months since his operation. Whilst Manan's left hand is still in a cast, the scars from the operation on his face are healing well.
Manan, what do you remember about the fire?
أني شاف روبين أول بخيمة مون ما قرباركر شكل شودر سلام دو قربي ونزلت الخستان وشكل أزداد مام.
Manan and his sister Nathlia are extremely close, but haven't mixed much with other children since the fire.
كيف ما جرى مكتبين وخرا المنطبة المام تشكى على ميما هلكو تشكى على ميما أجينا نعلميا وما جينا نعلميا بس تشكى على ميما أشكر دريسم
Hallo, 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 ja. Hallo Manan. Manan, ich zeig dir deinen neuen Platz, okay? Erstmal. Manan ist 10 Jahre alt. Okay, 10 Jahre alt und kommt, wie einige von euch, aus Syrien. Wer kommt noch aus Syrien? Ali, Ahmad und Khaled. Genau, ihr kommt aus Syrien.
This is a welcome class for children who've come to Germany from all over the world. It's the first time Manan has ever been to school in any country. In his first words of German, Manan introduces himself.
Hallo, ich bin Manan.
Ich bin 10 Jahre alt.
Ich bin 10 Jahre alt. Ich komme aus Syrien.
Perfekt, sehr gut. Ja, wolltest du klatschen? Das kannst du machen, das ist schön gewesen.
He smiles when his classmates applaud him, something he would have found virtually impossible before the operation. To help him feel more comfortable, he sat with other children from Arab-speaking countries, including another Syrian boy who was born with disabilities to his hand and foot. Even his new friend, who turns out to be from the same town in Syria, was curious about the new arrival.
We have rules in the class, yeah? We say all the children the same. Nobody is a mistake because he have something. Maybe he have not the whole hand, maybe some child cannot hear, some child don't want to speak, but we all are perfect like we are.
But on the way out in the playground, Manan's worst fears are realised as he becomes the centre of attention. Being stared at is something Manan will have to contend with for the rest of his life. In the Greek capital, Athens, Najib Ali and his family are losing hope. Unable to walk, Najib is now 14 and his parents and brothers are struggling to lift him.
ابني كان طفل ابن 7 سنوات عمال يمشي فجأة مقعد عم نشيله ونحطه يعني نحن تعبنا هو تعب يعني أنا ابني ابن قلبي يعني ما أتحمل الوضع اللي هو فيه.
Nearly 7 months ago, Najib was told he faced the possibility of dialysis without a kidney operation, but he's still on a waiting list. His mother, Fatun, says she would willingly give up one of her own kidneys if she could find someone to operate. But it's not only his kidney, lung and bladder problems that are weakening Najib. His collapsed spine, which still has shrapnel in it, is pushing Najib's abdomen to one side, causing him intense pain. His family say they never dreamed they would be stuck in Athens like this.
احنا طلعنا ما بنعرف انه الحدود موقفة. الحدود انه كانت نسمع عن العالم تطلع دوري بس توصل اليونان تركب وتوصل لألمانيا للبلد اللي هي بدها اياه. بلد اليونان حلوة بس ما فيها العناية الطبابة بالنسبة لنجيب.
In Berlin, Manan has had the cast taken off his left hand, revealing partial fingers. The surgery around his mouth means he can now eat and drink more easily.
نسوي انه هو يتعالج هون ويروح على المدارس ونسوي العمليات وهيك، واليوم فكوا له ايده والحمد لله انه ايده مو مثل الاول. الحمد لله على كل شيء.
Najib's family have now got residency in Greece. They're in the process of applying for a visa to travel to Britain to try to get treatment for him.
بحب أصير بالمستقبل دكتور وأكمل في دراستي وأتعالج.